The Red Foxes and the Broncs tied for 4th place. And so they are playing as we get things underway from Buffalo. Mario Porter for 2 gets things started on the right foot for Ryder.
You know, you talk about the fact that Ryder wants to go inside, but it's always a positive when Mario Porter can come out and knock down the open shot from 17.
Red Foxes in their home white uniforms through the tiebreaker system, Jack. Marist considered the home team in this game, but both teams 11-7 in league play. And then Marist overall 16-12, while Ryder 16-11. So you can certainly tell that these two teams are even. Drew Samuels misfires. Loose ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Ryder possession. Another part of the Marist story, Jack, has been overcoming injury. Sean Kennedy missed time with a bad back. Drew Samuels battling a foot and ankle injury, and Coach McGarity already with the button tab undone has kept it all together.
We've kept our tabs on right now.
Well, we're early in our day. We've got a ways to go.
You know, you talk about injuries. I mean, Drew Samuels, a different guy. 18 points, 9 rebounds before his injury, ankle. Afterwards, 8 points and 4 rebounds. So a dramatic drop-off in his performance level.
Smith off the crossover. Gives it to Samuels for 2.
Oh, beautiful play that time. Smith get into the lane. Dribble penetration, creating an opportunity for the clean look inside.
Samuels, a second-team all-conference performer. The team's announced on Thursday night at the annual awards banquet. Offensive foul.
That was a good call by Ken Clark, the official that time. Eppenheimer just knocking down the man in transition. And the guy you have to control in transition, we talked about in the open, Kennedy, is so good, and he's so aware in the open court. You have to contain him, not allow him to get in the lane, because when he gets there, he makes those other 4 teammates that much better player.
Porter fouled on the way up. Well, back on February 15th, Ryder took it to Marist in Lawrenceville, 100-82. Porter went off with 32 points. Michael Crawford had a big game with 23 as well.
You know, big difference in the two matchups. The first time these two met, the perimeter players for Ryder scored 10 points on 4 of 23 shooting. And then when they played at home, 49 points for the perimeter players, 15 of 24 shooting. They shot 68% overall, 9 of 12 from 3. So a different Ryder ball club at home. And obviously, you know, you talk as much about defending Porter and McClark inside. Got to do a good job as well on the perimeter.
And one stat, in pouring through all the statistics we have available to us here at the tournament, one that really jumped at me, Jack, was that as a team, Ryder shoots 54% inside the three-point line. They are so efficient in the paint that McClark and Porter are just terrific when you can get the ball to them in good position.
Exactly. They only shoot 30% behind the arc.
Wilson with a kiss for 2. He was on the line. How about that angle?
It was an interesting angle. Good usage in a window, though, needless to say. I wonder if he called it.
6-2, Ryder on top, early going of our first men's quarterfinal here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Rick Smith misfires on his first field goal attempt here this afternoon. Crawford, tough pass. McClark couldn't handle it. And it'll be Red Foxes basketball.
You know, Doug, you make a great point about how well Ryder executes their offense inside the three-point line as we see McClark a little banged up. I was, quite frankly, really surprised that he didn't make any of the all-league teams. I mean, he's been a dominant player. You talk about McClark. I mean, he's 3rd in the league in rebounding, one of the better scorers in the league at 13 a night, and one of the true warriors inside. But if you're Marist and you're playing a team like this, you slough off and make them beat you over the top.
This is Kennedy. Kick it back. Samuels mishandled. Wilson picks it up for the Broncs. Another tough pass. Crawford handles but had nowhere to go. McClark cleans it up. 8-2 Ryder.
He makes me sound intelligent.
Well, I don't know if anybody can do that, Jack. Come on.
But that's what he does so well. He gets the garbage points. He goes to the glass hard, and Samuels has to be ready to handle those passes from Kennedy unforced.
High-low game into Samuels. Nice help for the steal by Wicks. That's his game. Wicks doesn't put up a lot of stats or numbers, but he's always in the mix. Just over 3 minutes gone here at the HSBC Arena. Crawford, nice feed. Wicks, the tip in. Trying to make me look intelligent. But again, I don't think he's that good. But Wicks with the follow-up, and Ryder off to a quick start, leading 10-2, drawing a timeout from Dave McGarity.
Execution so far. Donnie Harnum's ball club getting it done.
Nothing goes better with basketball than a Pepsi.
Well, Jack, the winners of the New York Lottery MAAC Scholar Athlete Award are Carmen Massarello from Siena College and Becky O'Donoghue of Niagara University. Massarello is a marketing major with a 3.58 GPA from Clifton Park, New York. O'Donoghue, a communications major with a 3.65 GPA from Dobbs Ferry, New York. The New York Lottery will provide new computers to their elementary schools. The award is based on GPA, community participation, and good sportsmanship. The New York Lottery supporting education since 1967, saluting Massarello and O'Donoghue for their achievements. Outstanding for both.
Speaking of outstanding, look at the execution on the part of Ryder. They do a great job of the spacing in their offense. Good ball movement on the perimeter. And look at Crawford going back door. Beautiful feed by Wilson. And then Wicks picking it up, finishing it off. And then in transition, here's Crawford missing his shot. And here's McClark going strong to the basket for the follow-up. And we had Ryder a few weeks back, you and I, and the thing that really hurt them against Fairfield, in the final few minutes of that game, they were up 6 points, and they didn't run their cuts and make crisp passes. And Don Harnum really spent a lot of time with his team the last few weeks on getting them to spread their floor offensively, execute their offense, hard cuts, crisp passes, and I think you saw a little bit of that right there on that half-court sequence.
Here's Kennedy. Led the conference by leaps and bounds in assists per game. Over 8 assists a game. Number 4 in the entire country. Here's a steal. Porter takes it away from Tullis. Tullis tries to return the favor. It goes out of bounds. Marist basketball. Let's send it over to Teal.
McGarity's huddle, he said, you guys are sleepwalking on defense. You're doing a lousy job. And in their fist offense, you don't have to make that great pass. Be patient. Back to you guys.
And that's exactly it. Tullis tried to force the pass in the post. He's had that happen twice. Be a little bit more patient.
Smith, the open look from Kennedy. There's assist number 1 for Mr. Kennedy, the junior point guard from Northport, New York.
That's what he does so well. He puts it to the deck, creates, helps situations, and then finds open teammates.
There he is on the defensive glass. Kennedy missed time earlier this year with a degenerative back problem. Samuels the offensive rebound and putback.
Nice pass that time.
Assist Eppeheim.
Exactly. He'll want the credit for that one. The set play Dave McGarity put in. That's why he's the coach of the year.
Absolutely. Jonathan McClark swings to Wicks. Porter draws a double team and backs out. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Whistling a foul off the ball against Mike Wilson.
Good call inside. Moving screen.
That takes us to our first commercial break here in Buffalo. We'll step away with a 10-6 Ryder lead on the MAAC Television Network. Ryder 10, Marist 6 in our first men's quarterfinal at the 2001 MAAC basketball tournament in Buffalo. And Fans HSBC is proud to sponsor the HSBC Family Section. Tickets and programs for this tournament were provided by HSBC, your world of financial services. What if she got that food for free, too?
I know, nice gig.
Nice.
And Western New York has not been a friendly place to Marist. They're 2-6 here in the last 3 years, and 1-1 in the MAAC tournament in their time, the third appearance in the building. So Dave McGarity talking to his team earlier about sleepwalking, and needless to say, the concern there is at a performance level when they make the trip up north.
Well, you know, Jack, these were the 2 hottest teams out of the gate in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference this year during the regular season, as Smith misfires. Lawrence Young the rebound. I mean, Ryder began the year 6-0, best start since joining the league. And same story for Marist. They started 5-0. And they both kind of hit that mid-late January, early February malaise. And then they've picked it up heading into the tournament.
You think about Ryder, they then lost 6 of 8, and then they won 3 of their last 4. So they're like the stock market.
Well, as Don Harnum has told us throughout the year, he just can't figure it out. You know, how do you lose by 40 at home to Siena when you haven't lost a game at home in 2 years? How do things like that happen?
Because the only thing predictable about dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids is the fact that they're unpredictable.
Good hustle by Donald Vale. He picks up the loose ball.
And those are the plays he makes, all the blue-collar plays, coming up with the loose balls, offensive rebounds, taking charges.
Oppenheimer, the putback off his own miss, and we are tied at 10.
This has been the whole story the entire year with Marist. They get their backs to the wall, but they just keep fighting.
So after falling behind 10-2, the Red Foxes have tied it up. There's Vail again, mixing it up. Rick Smith comes away with it. Down the lane, Samuels the trailer. Vail missed the reverse. After it again, somehow saves it to Samuels. Another chance for Marist, and the Red Foxes take the lead.
Good timeout by Donnie Hornum. Donald Vail made that whole possession happen. It's like trench warfare in there. I mean, going to glass with a vengeance. Donald Vail and Drew Samuels getting after it. Vail set that entire play up, though. The finish right there on Samuels, but Donald Vail coming up with 2 loose ball opportunities. I mean, that's purely just wanting more than the other guy.
A couple of undersized post players. Vail 6'4", a senior from the Bronx. Samuels 6'5", senior from Elmont. They know that this is their last college basketball weekend.
And you know what? They're New York kids, too. Out of the Catholic High School League and St. Raymond, St. Francis Prep, competitive kids. And Don Hornum, I think it was a perfect timeout. He brought his team in and just reamed them out. I mean, pure and simple effort from one end on the defensive standpoint, and then from an offensive standpoint, reminding his club, hey, we got to do a better job executing our half-court offense. A few forced plays of late.
Tank Wallman, Junior Curtis, Lawrence Young, Mario Porter, and Michael Scott on the floor for the Bronx from Rider University. With the basketball, trailing by 2. Here's Curtis breaking it down right to the basket for 2. We're tied at 12.
I'm a big fan of Junior Curtis. He's got that explosive first step. He has a good recognition of his teammates. Positive assist to turnover ratio. He's going to be a good player his final 2 years at Rider when he takes over the lead guard position from Michael Crawford.
And you know what, Jack? He's another kid from the city, from Queens.
Gotta love him.
Samuels the pull-up. Curtis, the weak side rebound, tried to dribble through traffic and picks up the foul. Smith on the reach-in.
Those are the fouls that drive me crazy. I mean, 90 feet from the basket, you're trying to make a big play reaching in. So get back on D, build your defense, be fundamentally sound. Both coaches getting their players into the game early on. I mean, Donnie Hornum's already gone 4 players into his bench. Dave McGarity has already gone 2 players in. So trying to get the cobwebs out after not playing for a week, as well as the jitters.
Blake Sonny has checked in for Marist. Curtis takes him right to the basket and makes him pay.
Again, we talk about that explosive first step. And you know what? This is a great offense for a point guard to play in because their spacing is so good. There's so much more real estate to operate with when you put it to the deck.
Junior Curtis playing with a shoelace that's untied, trying to check Sean Kennedy. It's tough enough when both of them are laced up.
You're very observant.
I'm looking at shoes, I guess. Curtis the rebound. Here comes Alwyn Junior Curtis again. Tough pass for Porter to handle a little bit behind him. And a turnover back to the Red Foxes. When we come back, we have a timeout with 11:56 left to go first half. The Rider Bronx by 2 on the MAAC Television Network. The Marist Red Foxes trailing by 2 to Rider in this MAAC quarterfinal game. And this week's Did You Know feature brought to you by Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. And did you know that Sean Kennedy has been ranked in the top 4 in assists all season long in the NCAA?
And did you know that the Marist Red Foxes are tops in the MAAC in assist to turnover ratio? And did you know they're tops in the MAAC in takeaway giveaway? And did you know that Sean Kennedy has a 2.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio?
We got to get you your own Citizens Communications. Did you know that? Jack Armstrong,
right
Citizens Communications. I didn't know all those.
You got to do your homework there, big fella.
Oh.
We're going to be together all day.
That's right.
We'll have a few laughs.
We got another 11 and a half hours to go.
I'm going to see more of you than I see of my wife.
Likewise. We've got a goaltending call, it appears. Count the basket.
And my wife's happy about it. I'm out of the house. Doing something. I'm working.
You're up in Toronto last night doing a Raptors-Nets game. Here doing 4 today, 2 tomorrow. Let's take another look here and see who got his hand up on the cylinder.
Vail takes it strong here. Let's see here. That was below the rim.
Well, credit Vail with the basket nonetheless. We're tied at 14. Junior Curtis. He was fouled by Blake Sonny. You can't believe it.
Marist foul on number 21, Blake Sonny. That's his first
Non-shooting foul. First against Sonny and the fourth against the Red Foxes. Ryder has been called for just one foul so far here this afternoon. Porter took his eye off the pass, tried to go behind his back and has it taken away. Sherman Wittenberg and Sean Kennedy came together.
Quick hands of Kennedy, the top man in steals in a MAAC conference.
Sonny kicks it to the baseline. Nice move, but Tullis misses twice. Didn't even catch the iron on either shot.
Tullis is in too much of a rush today. I mean, he's made some moves that you can see he's just over anxious, forcing the issue. And he had a beautiful up and under the previous possession. As you can see, he's going strong to the basket, but just a little bit out of control. Just gather yourself when you get in the lane and finish.
Well, you can see the difference in upper body strength.
No doubt.
Between he and McClark.
So he's trying to out-quick people because he can't out-muscle. Good point.
Porter backing down. Curtis swings to Young. Quick release from the head of the key. Lawrence Young, 6'3" freshman from Providence, has his first points. It's back to a three-point Ryder lead.
Game 2 of the Marist Ryder series this season. Young with 16 points in that game, so he can light it up.
Here's Tullis with plenty of time. Rims out. McClark the rebound knocked away off of Scott, so it's going to be Marist basketball. Let's send it back over to Teal Stevens.
And guys, that Coach Harnum said in the Ryder huddle, he said they needs the guards in the action. Keep mixing it up offensively. We've got a lot of different stuff, a lot of different weapons. Use it and value every possession. Back to you.
Well said. And that's exactly what the philosophy of Ryder is. Ball distribution, sharing it, and make sure the guards dictate the flow. And good execution at time. But our Red Fox is getting a clean look behind the arc.
You know what? 2 weeks ago, as Curtis's call for the travel, Jack, you talked about some big games in this matchup. Donald Vail, who averages only 6 points per game, scored 16 in the last matchup against Ryder. So we talked about him scrapping for rebounds and playing good defense. He's also capable of putting up points in these particular matchups.
No question. He's averaged 14 points and 4 rebounds in the series. Rick Smith, 10 points a game. Samuels, 12. Some confidence. How about Oppenheimer averaging 10 as well in this series?
Yep. Samuels short on the little runner. Scott the rebound for Ryder.
But on the flip side, Mario Porter averaging 28 points a game in the 2 games that he played against Marist. So he's a guy that needs to get a few more touches inside. Been non-existent of late. And here's the turnover in the backcourt. Good play in the backcourt. Wittenberg coming up to distract Curtis.
And even though it's Curtis who's whistled for the turnover, that's really the guy who passed him the ball's fault. He should recognize there's a defensive player coming up.
That's when you have to handle it. But Curtis is the point guard, so trying to give him the responsibility to run the squad. But needless to say, you have to recognize the defense and make good reads.
Samuels backs into the corner.
Did you coach in your previous life, Doug?
No, but I've been listening to you and Glenn for 5 years now.
Oh boy, that's a chore.
I've still got all my hair, and I'm got very few gray hairs yet. You can tell I never coached.
Tough shot by Scott in transition. He had the clean look, 34% three-point shooter, but a tad bit quick, and he'll take a seat.
Kennedy and Smith in the backcourt for Marist. Out there with Sherman Wittenberg. And Vail and Samuels inside. Very small lineup for Marist. They lost their starting center, Marius Genesis, mid-season. And he was 6'8", provided some size. But actually, those who have filled in his place have done quite well. And here's Donald Vail, who's picked up some of those minutes, continues to produce.
Exactly. And you talk about the sense of urgency with the seniors. He and Samuels possibly playing their last game. Really competing, and the turnovers are killing Ryder right now. 12 on the afternoon.
McClark from the high post. Vail the rebound. Boy, Donald Vail getting his name called quite a bit since coming off the bench for the Red Foxes.
Much better job as well. The rebounding scenario. Marist has been out rebounded on the offensive glass quite a bit during the course of the season, and that's been a problem in this series. And I tell you what, right now you look at Vail inside, and Samuels doing a good job containing Ryder to one shot.
Tullis has wound up taking a lot of the time at the post since the departure of Genesis, and he's really been a key. Second half of the season, averaging 11 points and almost 9 rebounds a game since moving into the starter's role. Air ball by Vail. Marist fortunate to get it back.
That was a pass, actually.
Samuels, another offensive rebound, and McClark sent him down to the hardwood hard. Samuels will go to the line for 2.
You know, we saw that in the Fairfield game when he whacked Garcia as he went up for the shot, and McClark gets his licks in. When you go up in traffic, you better be ready to go and take your game strong to the hole, and that time Samuels paid for it.
Well, you know, that's borderline right there. I mean, there's a hard foul, and then there's maybe over the line. That was as hard as you can get.
Samuels, second team all-league this year, did a great job shooting only 63% from the line. You know, he's done a real nice job as well on the offensive glass. 92 offensive rebounds this season. That's one of them right there. And he's a guy that really has improved his game. You talk about the fact he's raised his scoring average this year close to 6 points and 3 rebounds a game. So he's really made the next step in his game as a senior.
Porter the rebound. Yeah, Samuels made second team All-MAAC and actually was well on his way to being a first teamer before that ankle injury slowed him down. Smith. He has had the feel late in the season, Jack.
He sure has, playing with so much more confidence of late, and he's a guy that logs a lot of minutes for this team. Probably one of the more consistent players on his team. You talk about Kennedy, but Smith, the unsung hero, making big shots, the tough defensive assignment each time, and he comes to play.
Porter with the jump hook. Ryder needs to get him on track.
Exactly.
That's 6 now for Porter.
You know, you have Wicks taking an open shot in transition. Forget that. Pound it inside to Porter. Make Marist prove to you that they can stop him. Then have an alternate plan.
Smith feeling good, and he gets the shooter's roll. That's 2 for 2.
He's got the mojo going.
Yes. 8 for Smith. It's an 8-point Marist lead. This was after Ryder took a 10-2 lead to begin the game. The Bronx have gone cold since. That's a 25-9 run for the Red Foxes.
Eppheimer has improved so much as well on the glass, averaging over 5 rebounds in the 2 games that he played against Ryder. Smith saying, I am unconscious. I'm jacking another one.
Well, he just woke up from that dream. Wittenberg with a deep 3. Wahlberg the rebound. Michael Crawford has come into the game for Ryder.
Ryder needs to do a much better job on the defensive backboards. Marist getting second and third opportunities almost on every trip.
Wicks lost it somehow to Eppheimer. 6:14 to go first half. 8-point Marist lead. The Red Foxes with possession.
Those are good words, somehow. I don't know how he lost it.
Samuels working on Wallman. This is Eppheimer. Quick lob underneath. And the pass back out stolen by Crawford. There's a nice defensive set for Ryder. In transition, Crawford gets the roll. No call. He and Wittenberg wound up on the deck. But Michael Crawford picks up his first points of the afternoon.
Good individual play that time by Crawford. They double-teamed the post. He was the guy in rotation. Shot the gap, got in the passing lane, then went the other end and laid it in. Heads-up defensive play. You talk about team defense. How do you defend on the ball? And you know what? Just as important, what you do off the ball, the reads you make defensively to make your team a better unit overall.
5:29 to go first half. Don Hardiman is Ryder Bronx down by 6 because of the hot shooting of Rick Smith. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
Everything.
Marist College prepares students to compete in the .com world, educating the mind as well as educating the heart. Marist is committed to helping students develop the strong values to serve them well beyond their college years. Marist is a member of the Templeton Honor Roll, a select group of 100 colleges and universities nationwide, recognized for their commitment to inspire students to lead ethical and civic-minded lives. Marist College, proud of its heritage, preparing tomorrow's leaders.
Marist 27, Ryder 21. 5:29 left to go here in the first half from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. And Disney's Wide World of Sports joins forces with the MAAC, creating a unique experience for MAAC athletes. And you see the listing of MAAC championships upcoming at Disney. men's and women's golf, women's soccer, women's volleyball. Check out MAACsports.com and AnthonyDravel.com.
And they didn't include the MAAC broadcaster trip as well that we get for this, right?
That's coming up March 15th through the 17th,
great.
I think.
Oh, St. Patty's Day in Florida. Have a few pints.
Now we're in your neck of the woods here. Smith puts it in off the glass with the left hand.
Smith playing with great confidence right now. That explosive first step. He's knocking down shots on a perimeter, taking it to the rack, doing it all.
Lawrence Young. Kennedy the rebound. 8-point Marist lead. Red Foxes with possession. Kennedy keeps the defense on its heels. Crawford picks up the foul.
You know why? Because he changes speed so well.
Let's send it back over to Teal.
Thanks, guys. Coach McGarity said, because you're doing a good job in fist, but you're really scaring the bleep out of me in transition defensively. What you got to do is just communicate. Say, I got ball, you got wicks. Just good communication out there.
All right, thank you, Teal.
I was making the point, Kennedy does a great job changing speeds. That time he went from one gear to another and attacked Crawford with the bounce. Got him off balance.
Mike Scott picks up the foul. His first and number 5 against Ryder. There's Scott, 6'4" junior from Hyattsville, Maryland. Eppheimer, Vale, Samuels, Kennedy, and Smith out there for the Red Foxes. In Western New York from Eastern New York, from Poughkeepsie, out here in Buffalo. Samuels backing down, almost got it stuck between the cylinder and the backboard. McClark with the rebound.
Tough shot. That's one you got to turn down. You have two people right nearby. Kick it, keep the ball moving, get a better one.
McClark high-low to Porter. Gathers, but misfired on the layup.
But that's what they do best. They really spread the floor out. They get those high-low opportunities. Ryder continues to explore inside and needs to do that.
Eppheimer guarded tightly by Young. Porter went for the steal. Somebody's got to be open. It was Kennedy on the right wing they couldn't recognize. Samuels finally gets it to Kennedy, but long after the play was developed.
Exactly. That's not a good play by Samuels. He had Kennedy wide open for like 4 seconds on his right-hand side. Got to make that play. Stop putting it to the deck and make the extra pass in the offensive sequence.
Marist leads by 8 as we head to break. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this. Marist 29, Ryder 21. Late in the first half here in Buffalo. The first of our 4 men's quarterfinals here on the MAAC television network. And our Pepsi MAAC Player of the Year, Damon Stewart, the leading scorer in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference this year. And in spite of playing on a bad foot late in the season, he has continued to pour it on. He missed the last regular season game, but the senior from Rochester is ready to go later on today. Our Player of the Year, then our MAAC Rookie of the Year. Was John Reimold, and we'll tell you more about John upcoming.
Marist changing up after the timeout, going with a little 1-2-1-1 full court pressure here.
29-21 Marist. Scott, little pull-up, used the window nicely.
Perfect. Good execution of the press offense, and the decision-making you make in the final 15 feet of the court is so important. Good pull-up, under control by Scott. You know what? Now it makes Marist think twice. We pressure you, we'll make you pay.
Smith the leaner, no. Samuels the tip. They have been the 2 offensive catalysts, Jack. Smith has 10, Samuels now with 12.
And Ryder has had problems this year on the offensive glass. They've given up 20 more offensive rebounds than they've gotten. And that time Samuels making up for the ill-advised penetration charge on the last possession, coming up with an offensive rebound. Ryder in the game, 13 turnovers. This season, they have had more assists than turnovers. They have a plus 13 in that category. But today, it's really hurt them.
McClark got banged and still put it in. He'll go to the line to try and complete a 3-point play.
Marist on the afternoon, on the flip side, 10 offensive rebounds so far. And good job inside again. They work the high-low and then going strong to the basket. McClark with the finish.
McClark barely nicked the rim.
Only shooting 59% from the free throw line on the season.
Fifth-year senior. Vail left wide open. Samuels once again the first man with his hand on the rebound.
Yeah, they got to put a body on him.
Meanwhile, Porter was leaking out and he throws it down.
Well, not only that, the shot was taken and Kennedy kept his eye on the play and didn't get back. You know, cardinal rule for a point guard: shots taken, make sure no one gets behind you. It's like a free safety in football. That time, Porter on a leak out, heads up play.
31-27 Marist.
Does Vail have a high arc and a shot or what? That baby takes a long time to come down.
Absolutely.
It's got like snow on it. We're in Buffalo. It's got snow on it by the time it comes down.
You know what, though, Jack? He is the leading three-point shooter on this team at 42%. So who can argue? There's Samuels. He's a machine inside so far this afternoon. 14 points already for the 6'5 senior out of St. Francis Prep. Young misses the two. Kennedy the rebound.
And of late, as I mentioned earlier, Samuels has been really bothered by that ankle injury. He's playing through the pain today.
Scott the strip. He pulls up for the quick three, and he hits.
Confidence. A steal, a three. You need that kind of energy, and more important, productivity off the bench, and Scott getting it done today.
That's 5 now for Scott. It's back to a three-point game.
You know this baby's going to come right down the wire. Two teams evenly matched.
Smith fouled by Scott. Well, this has been a game of runs so far.
No
one
question.
team jumps up by 8. The other one comes back, takes a 10-point lead. Back and forth we go.
And Doug, similar styles, too. I mean, they're methodical in their approach offensively. They like to manufacture shots off of screen usage, good spacing in their offense, a lot of patterns. But more importantly than anything else, they have the capability in transition of making you pay when you don't get back. The difference today, I think, have been two things. First of all, Marist on the offensive glass, and second of all, Ryder has to do a better job in terms of taking care of the rock.
Marist struggling at the free throw line, 0 for 3 so far. Vail goes out, Tullis comes back in.
I know they had the MAAC Give Back clinic yesterday, and I know you did the free throw shooting.
Got to keep your elbow tucked.
And, I guess these guys didn't show up to listen to you.
They need to. Smith gets 1 out of 2. He has 11.
I know you've been advising Shaquille O'Neal on his free throw shooting.
No. I won't take any credit for that. Actually, I've been working with Scott Knapp and Michael Crawford. Those are the two that I work closely with.
I'm impressed.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. No surprise, this is a tight ball game. These two teams tied for 4th place in the MAAC at 11-7. Shot clock, you see, down to 7. Curtis into Porter with 2 to shoot. Make that McClark, and he was fouled with just 1 on the shot clock. So McClark bailed out. Ryder bailed out. He'll go to the line for 2.
On Dave McGarrett, he is so upset right now in terms of the foul that was called right there. He is livid. I mean, 1 second on the shot clock. Double team against McClark in the right post. You could see it. 1 second, he's saying to the officials. Good defensive sequence by Marist. And those are the ones that really just frustrate you because you play so well for so long, and then a foul call bails him out. But McClark having his struggles at the line, Doug.
One out of 2 for McClark.
I like the rims here, though. You get the generous bounce.
Yes, you do.
Just get it up on the tin and...
Well, you gotta. This is an NBA type arena. You got to get the Vancouver Grizzlies to move here. They'll like the rims, right? You can do the color for the
Toronto.
Grizzlies, and you can do the Raptors. You can do both.
I think that'd be a conflict.
Come on. Great rivalry.
It would be. It's a beautiful arena to play. Last year, the NCAA tournament was here. It had rave reviews.
Sean Kennedy from the corner with 2 seconds remaining in the half. Hits the 3. And the Marist Red Foxes head into the locker room with a 6-point lead.
Speaking of rave reviews, that man's received a lot of them, and he is dynamite coming off the ball screen.
Not bad at all for Mr. Kennedy and the Red Foxes. After falling behind 10-2, they take a 6-point lead to the locker room. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
I assumed that college would be a long series of lectures, tests, and papers. That was until I went to Niagara University. I put my logistics major to work as an intern at Praxis. I was so well prepared that after a short time, I was offered a promotion in a full-time position when I graduated.
At Niagara, learning inside and outside the classroom are both important. We encourage students to have active learning experiences in research, internships, co-ops, and study abroad.
Niagara University. Make your education an experience.
The excitement of MAAC championships hits the ice as the 2001 Easton MAAC Ice Hockey League Championship returns to the Yukon Ice Arena in Storrs, Connecticut, March 15th and 17th. Don't miss your opportunity to see 11 teams fight for the MAAC championship and a coveted spot in the NCAA Ice Hockey Tournament. All session passes are affordably priced at $12, a great value for the entire family. Call 1-877-288-2666 now to reserve your seat for all the high-flying action of the 2001 Easton MAAC Ice Hockey League Championship.
Job listing website exclusively for students and alumni. It's where over 400,000 businesses have come looking for talents just like yours. The MAAC and JobTrack.com, the fastest track between school and work. Check it out at your school's career center.
What? Dean's List.
Family. It's what the MAAC and Special Olympics are all about. Working together to overcome obstacles, braving new challenges, achieving goals, and exceeding expectations. The MAAC and Special Olympics, teammates promoting the true spirit of competition.
Along with Jack Armstrong, this is Doug Sherman at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Jonathan McClark and the Rider Broncs, a little bit of a struggle in that first half, and the struggles came, Jack, in large part because the Red Foxes took it to them.
No question.
Let's send it over to Teal.
Hey, thanks a lot, Doug. You know, Marist and Rider were in the NEC before accepted in the MAAC 4 years ago. They never played each other in a tournament game. Rider has never beaten Marist in Poughkeepsie. They're 0-11. Marist is 2-9 at Rider. Let's see how they do on this neutral site. Doug?
Thank you, Teal. So far, relatively even.
Marist is 2-9 at Rider, but they haven't won this since 1984.
Well, we know that Alumni Gymnasium, the Bronx Zoo, is a tough place to play. Mike Wilson. There's an offensive rebound for the Bronx. Mario Porter puts it back in.
Maybe that'll encourage the Bronx to get on the glass a little bit more. That's only their third offensive rebound on the afternoon. And Marist with 10. I mean, Samuels and Tullis with 7 offensive rebounds combined. 8 butt kicking on the glass so far.
You know, Porter had that huge game back on February 15th against Marist, where he was 13 of 17 shooting for a career-high 32 points.
Johnny Harnum, I'm sure he was blistering the paint off the walls, talking to his team about the fact, hey, we got to win the battle of the boards if we're going to have a chance to get this game.
And, you know, it's got to be Porter who leads the way. He's their first team All-League All-Star.
And McClark. I mean, he's as good a player as you can get in terms of the grunt work inside, getting on the glass. Does a terrific job around the bucket.
This is McClark facing the basket with 11 to shoot. Tough pass inside, knocked out of bounds by Smith. It'll be Rider ball, 9 on the shot clock.
Right there, Michael Crawford walking over to his fellow senior McClark saying, hey, let it happen. 9 on the clock. You don't have to force the pass down the lane. Make the extra pass, the swing pass, right to left. Let the offensive sequence create the shot opportunity.
Great recovery defense by Smith. He was beaten off the dribble and got the block shot anyhow.
Kid, that is just pure athleticism right there. Good recovery from point A to point B because Crawford had gotten the best of him.
So Crawford triggers now with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Wide open Porter from 18. Air ball. And so 3 chances at the basket for Rider, comes up with nothing.
And that's frustrating because he got a good shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that time, though, he rushed it, didn't have his legs under him. So he didn't have the lift on his shot, didn't drive his toes into the ground, therefore shooting a flat shot. hitting Zippo.
Air ball. Kennedy short on his long three-pointer. Tullis with another chance at the offensive end, and yet another chance, but he missed it. Out of bounds, it's Ryder ball.
Tullis has 4 offensive rebounds this afternoon, and Smith with those quick hands. Look at Tullis missing a shot, but missed shot, and then bang, right back to him. Smith poking it loose.
So actually 2 more offensive rebounds for him on that one. Crawford again off the dribble. This time gives it up, but a loose ball on the floor. Taken away by Kennedy, and Matt Tullis is injured.
And that is the official call on timeout. Tullis landed pretty hard on his head. That doesn't look good.
Fans, don't forget, nothing goes better with basketball than a Pepsi. Pepsi, the joy of cola.
Trainer Glenn Marinelli from Marist going out to 10 to Matt Tullis.
Immediately with the gauze on his left cheek there. Take a look for Tullis, number 50.
The MAAC would also like to thank HSBC for its continued support of
Oh, yeah. He caught a knee right in the head from Porter. Actually, right in his left eye.
There you go.
Left eye, I'm sorry.
Got a cut just below the eye. Well, he was fighting for a loose ball on his back while everybody else was on their feet.
Let me make a prediction. This young man will be back in a game. He is one of those guys you don't hold down for long. Look at the knee he catches right in the left eye. But Tullis, I've watched a good amount of MAAC basketball this year. I don't know if I can find a tougher guy in this league in terms of, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yep.
Mind over matter. That's Matt Tullis. Somehow, some way, he'll find a way to get back on the court.
Transfer from Snow Junior College, came east from Utah to play his college hoops. That's been a pipeline for Dave McGarity, getting kids out of Utah.
He likes the skiing out there, I think.
On his recruiting trips.
Yeah, he wears the sweater in the lodge. Looks like one of those guys in Switzerland, like Hans or something. Yeah?
Hans McGarity?
Yeah.
Rick Smith now with 14 points. He and Drew Samuels each with 14 to lead the way for the Red Foxes. 9-point Marist lead. Porter hammered by Vail. So Mario Porter will go to the line to shoot 2.
We talked about McClough giving a hard foul earlier. Vail, a little impact there, but nonetheless, you don't want Porter to get the arms up and get the opportunity to get a 3-point play. So you foul him while he's on the ground, make him go to the line. He got the better position. Say, hey, you're the better man. You got the opportunity, but I'm going to make you earn it from the free throw line.
Sherman Wittenberg back into the game for the Red Foxes. Backup point guard, 6'1" sophomore from Jamaica, Queens, who actually we saw earlier this year, Jack, have a terrific game filling in for Kennedy at the point in guiding the Red Foxes to their win over CN in that game at the McCann Center. He's capable of stepping in and playing big minutes.
No question. And you talk about making big plays. McClough and Porter in the first half had a combined 15 points. Against Marist in the first 2 games, they averaged 43. So they're a bit under their average that they normally get against this Red Fox squad.
Nick Eppenheimer, Sean Kennedy, Drew Samuels, Sherman Wittenberg, and Rick Smith on the floor for the Red Foxes in their home white uniforms. They're the number 4 seed. Ryder the number 5 seed. Eppenheimer the runner.
Well, he's an interesting player. I like the fact that he can shoot the ball in the perimeter, but he's crafty too. If you fall asleep on him, he can put it to the deck 1 or 2 bounces, break his own shot. He's got that little runner, a little bit awkward, but he's efficient.
R.J. Wicks inside to Porter, right around Eppenheimer, who commits the foul before the shot. Quick first step by Porter to get right to the baseline.
You think about the fact that Porter is playing with a foot stress fracture. This is a tough matchup for Eppenheimer on the baseline. He's got that quick step to the basket. Hasn't practiced in a month. So I guess DeMond Stewart and he have the similar understanding of life with the stress fracture.
Well, they're relatively common in the world of basketball. As you know, McClark fouled on his way to the basket, and once you get one, it's next to impossible to get rid of except for resting it. That's it. Let it heal itself.
That's the great thing about these kids. They're so tough. Look at McClark getting position. I talked about the fact that they haven't been as dominant in this game as the first 2 meetings. I think Marist has done a better job with their post defense. Pressure on the ball on the perimeter. The help side coverage has been there. And when in doubt, you might as well put this young man on the line. Makes that one right there, but has struggled this year below 60% from the line.
Clark, 6'7", 220 pounds. Chiseled upper body.
Like yourself.
Oh. If I take my sport coat off here, Jack, you'll know otherwise. Big padded shoulders. 16:10 to go here in the second half. Kennedy to Eppheimer off the pick and roll. Wicks. Called timeout before he went out of bounds. Good play by Wicks to keep possession for the Bronx, who trail it by 7. Well, you know, we haven't mentioned for Marist Red Fox fans, you might be saying, Drew Samuels, isn't he usually number 33? His uniform, his home uniform, was stolen a couple of weeks ago. There's Drew. He's now number 35 at home and number 33 on the road. It's kind of like when you were in high school, Jack. The jersey companies, at least where in my league, there's number 35. You couldn't have the same number at home and on the road, so I was number 14 at home and number 16 on the road. They only made one number, so I feel like he's in high school.
What kind of town were you from?
Central New York. The OHSL Central. You've never heard?
Yeah, I had the same number. Home and away.
Well, you're from the city.
Yeah, we had. I guess we had a little bit more funding.
We're up in the sticks, I guess.
I guess so.
But so, Mr. Samuels, I'm impressed by the Marist Athletic Department getting the name put on the new uniform. You know, it's only been a matter of days.
Tim Murray, the athletic director, Dr. Murray, the president.
Doing the right thing.
There's some big bucks up there in Poughkeepsie.
So Drew Samuels keeps his number 33 on the road, and he's wearing number 35 at home. But it's all neutral site here. It just goes by seedings. And right here in this 4-5 game, the first of the quarterfinals at the 2001 HSBC MAAC tournament. We got a timeout on the MAAC Television Network. Marist leading by 7, 44-37, 15:50 left to go here in the second half. From Buffalo and fans, the 2001 Eastern MAAC Hockey League Championship hits the ice March 15th through the 17th at UConn at the Ice Arena in Storrs, Connecticut. All session passes only $12 apiece. For information, call toll-free 1-877-AT-UCONN.
And you think about the season that Marist has had, and what an incredible season they've had. Most wins in MAAC history. And speaking of hockey, the Sabres, the home of the Buffalo Sabres here.
They were in Philly yesterday on the road to make way for the MAAC tournament.
Thanks, guys. When you talk about Marist, I mean, this is the most MAAC wins that they've had, 11 this year. They had 10 last year. So, you know, in their 4th year in existence in a MAAC conference, they're making the adjustment now in terms of recruiting, the quality of player you have to compete in this league. And it's similar, you know, actually Ryder and Marist came in at the same time. So these programs mirror each other, and Marist making that nice progression. Ryder came in as well. Both have been a good addition to this league, and both have been very competitive.
Yeah, they're natural fits, and the school presidents and league commissioner Rich Enser very particular about what teams they allow in, and there's always talk about expansion and shuffling, but this league has remained fairly constant with the small Catholic schools where basketball is clearly the focal point of the athletic department.
No question, as well as the fact, you know, you talk about class people. I mean, you're talking about dealing with 2 institutions with class coaches, administrators, and that makes a difference as well in terms of the ability for. The thing I love about this conference, and having worked in it for 13 of my 14 years as a coach at Fordham and at Niagara, people get along and people have a common bond, and there's a common philosophy, and I think that's what makes this league so special.
Porter with a little line drive jumper. Yeah, I echo your sentiments exactly, Jack. My 11 or 12 years around the league, it seems like across the board that's the case.
People pull for each other. That's the first field goal Ryder has made, by the way, in the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So we are right on top of things here, Doug.
14 now for Porter. At least you're on top of things, Jack. 5-point game once again. Crazy shot by Samuels, but he was fouled, and he will go to the line for 2.
I was talking about the great season Marist has had. How about the fact that they were 12-2 at the McCann Center this year, their best since 94-95, and Samuels just going to the rack. As you mentioned, a little bit out of control, but you know what? Efficient nonetheless. He's at the free throw line for 2.
And so Samuels, a 64% foul shooter, has bone chips in his ankle, playing through the pain and the discomfort.
What a great career he's had. I mean, 8th all-time in rebounding. And, you know, he gets to the line as well. He's been to the line 157 times this year. That's tops on his ball club. So he knows how to draw fouls, and that's a gift. 1 of 2.
Ryder down by 6 with possession. Alwyn Curtis with the basketball. Lawrence Young. And here's Wicks wide open. Smith didn't fight through the screen. Red Foxes with the rebound.
Wicks only a 20% three-point shooter. He's a guy that Marist will play off a little bit and provide assistance.
Yeah, so Jack, I say Smith didn't fight through the screen. Perhaps it was intentional to leave him alone.
Exactly.
Go ahead and let him take the shot.
You know, Wicks is more of a defensive specialist. He's a good blend guy in your team. He's the glue on this Ryder ball club, but not a big offensive weapon. Only averages 4 points a game. So he's a guy you can kind of cheat off of a little bit and provide help somewhere else. And Marist doing that today. They're making Wicks. They're giving him the open looks. It's the old line. Hey, coach, I was open. Hey, buddy, there's a reason why you're open.
Alwyn Curtis, coast to coast.
And that's a man you don't want to leave open. Junior Curtis. Once again, the explosive step to the rack.
He's a definite take it to the basket guard. He's not a pull-up jump shooting guard at all. Taking everything to the hole.
It's too windy to shoot jumpers in a schoolyard.
That's right, and there's Junior once again behind the back in traffic. Didn't feel Vail coming from behind, and here comes Wittenberg the other way.
Got to get the ball out in front of your body. Don't keep it on your side. And your teammates have to yell out too, back tip, so that you know someone's behind you. You know what the great guards do too, and it's so hard. When you're in traffic, you try to get as quick as possible a head count of what's in front of you in the opposition shirt. And Kennedy, that's what he does best. He draws 2 to 3 defenders to him and then finds somebody else. He's like a magnet. He draws defense to him. He attracts your attention.
Good defense by Ryder off of that pick and roll. McClark and Wicks. 20 seconds on the shot clock as Kennedy fires up a long one, perhaps a little out of his range.
No lift on his shot that time. You're right. You know, 2 feet in, maybe that lift is enough to get him the ball in the basket. Good job in a post that time defensively by Vail. McClark not happy with that one.
Offensive foul, number 30.
McClark posted up in here. He and Vail battling. And that time McClark warding off with the left forearm. And Don Harnum now giving his piece of his mind.
It's been known to happen.
Yeah, he and Dave McGarity are both demonstrative this afternoon.
Mario Porter the steal. Tough runner. Scott, no good. Here's Junior Curtis. Traveling violation, I guess, against Junior Curtis.
That was a tough pass by Vail that he made cross court to Kennedy. And then you get a good steal. You miss the layup. Pull the ball back out instead of trying to force the issue.
Well, Porter at one point off the steal looked like he had a step on everybody else, but the other 3 players got in his way, picked up his dribble, and really had nowhere to go.
Exactly.
Left himself with a very tough option.
And that's why you have a fresh 35-second shot clock. Use the entire amount, pull it out, get a quality opportunity.
Well, this is the 2001 HSBC MAAC basketball tournament.
Really?
I know you're thinking already about 2002, Jack. Back at the Pepsi Arena in Albany, 1 year from now, we will be sitting shoulder to shoulder. And if you'd like to join us at the Pepsi Arena for ticket information, call area code. Yeah, oh, sure. There's a big demand. Over 10,000 people at the last Siena game at the Pepsi. Tickets go fast. 518-487-2000 for next year's HSBC MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championship.
And the Red Foxes right now have not scored a field goal in their last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So Ryder taking advantage. As we talked so many times already, a game of runs. Ryder on their little mini run right now.
This is the first of our 4 quarterfinals here today on the MAAC Television Network. Following this game, stay tuned. We will have Iona versus Loyola, the number 1 seed against the number 9 seed. Loyola already coming up with an upset in yesterday's play-in game. And how about the slam follow by Matt Tullis?
Can't keep a good man down. What did I tell you? I knew he'd be back on the court. Talk about an exclamation point on his return.
What's he got, a little butterfly on the cheek now? Curtis hammered, and he'll go to the line. There's Tullis. He looks like an old-time boxer with the crew cut.
I love it. Look at Kennedy shooting across his body. Tough shot. Look at Tullis elevating, saying, Vail, get out of my way.
Matt Tullis, 6'9", 210 junior.
He's got those kangaroo hops.
Man.
I mean, man.
He went over 2 different guys to get that ball.
You know, there are certain guys that need to gather before they elevate, and then there are other guys that, bang, just hit the floor and they go right up.
Like a pogo stick.
That was impressive. And I just love this kid because you can't keep him from where he wants to go. I mean, he is so relentless in his effort and determined. When I spoke to Dave McGarity early in the season, he said, Jack, you're going to absolutely love Tullis. He is blue collar from the word go.
This is Tullis, number 50, around Wallman, and a foul. He and McClark come together again. McClark and Tullis have been banging like crazy here in the second half.
This is like bumper cars at Coney Island.
Man, we've got a timeout, 11:56 to go in our first men's quarterfinal. Marist leading by 6 on the MAAC television network.
El College Jesuita de New Jersey, St. Peter's College, por más de 125 años, ha ofrecido educación incomparable para estudiantes de todo nivel cultural y social, en artes, administración, negocios, ciencias, educación y mucho más. Programas atléticos y académicos por excelencia. St. Peter College, católico, diversificación internacional. Campos en Jersey City y Englewood Cliffs. St. Peter's College, el College Jesuita de New Jersey.
Marist holding on to a 6-point lead, 11:56 to go, second half of our MAAC men's quarterfinal. And our Pepsi MAAC Rookie of the Year from Loyola College.
Coming up next,
John Reimold. And boy, he's coming off a terrific game in yesterday's play-in game. And look at the stats he put up in the final week of the regular season. The 5th leading scorer in the conference as a first-year player. John Reimold, already a good one in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, our Pepsi Rookie of the Year.
Top 2 scorers on the Loyola Greyhounds are freshmen, so bright future for Scotty Hicks' club.
Yeah, he and B.J. Davis both on the all-rookie team, and we'll see the 2 of them coming up at about 2 o'clock, the second of our 4 quarterfinals here on the MAAC television network today.
Big day yesterday for B.J. Davis, making those free throws in crunch time to beat the Stags.
About 30 seconds to go. The freshman calmly sank 2 to give the final margin of victory for Loyola. And early in the game, they were both knocking down 3-pointers.
When you think about tempo in this type of game, and Ryder, when they hold their opponents to 65 points or less, they're 8-2. And when they score over 70 points, they're 13-3. So they play games normally mid-high 60s, low 70s. That's the tempo. And this game is a little bit slower than that right now. I'm not sure if we're going to get up into that category, into the low 70s. I think this game's going to be decided in the mid-60s, the way it's going. So situational basketball, the execution of your half-court offense, playing playoff basketball, doing all the little things in your defense, not turning the ball over and giving easy opportunities in transition. This time of year, all those little scenarios in terms of your game plan are magnified.
Junior Curtis checked by Sherm Wittenberg. Lawrence Young, who can be explosive, to Porter inside, and a foul on Tullis. He and McClark again getting tangled up. And you look at the 2 of them, Jack, you'd figure Tullis would be completely overmatched, but he's held his own very well so far today.
Tullis is like that guy on the beach that gets the sand kicked on him.
Who comes back after working out all year.
And still isn't big, but he finds a way to compete.
What was that, a Bazooka Joe or something?
I think it was, yeah. We're dating ourselves here. We're young guys, too, but McClark did a real nice job that time, carving out the sweet spot in the lane. Good presentation that time. Ball for the ball and the delivery in the post.
McClark knew that one was off, and then he picks up the foul on the rebound. The instant he released it, he darted in from the free throw line, winds up picking up the personal. And so back to the other end we go for 1-1 for the Red Foxes.
Both teams in the bonus, and obviously with 11 minutes left, I mean, your free throw shooting becomes an important component. Neither one of these teams has distinguished themselves greatly. Marist 67% on the season from the line. Rider 69%.
Our Chase MAAC Men's Players of the Week this year. We had a bunch of them. Darren Fenn still coming up in this tournament as Canisius will take on Niagara. Nakia Miller, actually just a few feet away from us as they're checking out this action. Iona and Loyola will be coming up next.
Smith made the first free throw, by the way.
Thank you very much. As I'm looking at the screen, you got to watch the game for me.
I'm the play-by-play guy.
That's all right. Scott Knapp as well.
And Smith missed the second free throw. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you very much, Jack. Here, let me give you your MAAC Players of the Week summary.
Okay.
Sure.
Very nice.
You're welcome.
I'm impressed. And that was the Chase MAAC. So we got to give Chase another plug.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the folks at Chase.
The good folks at Chase.
Exactly. Paying our exorbitant salaries.
Ours?
Yours.
Thank you. There's an offensive putback. Mario Porter.
Mario Porter.
4-point game.
At 16 for Porter.
You know, Marist, after the first 4 minutes of the game here, has pretty much controlled the tempo. Even though there's been a lot of runs, they have been the team that you look at and say, hey, that guy is winning, the other one's struggling. But Rider somehow finding a way to hang in there. They're lingering.
It's a 4-point game. Tullis takes a seat.
Done a good job so far with Sean Kennedy on ball screen scenarios. He has not been the catalyst.
Tough pass. That Beheimer saves it. Sherm Wittenberg has a chance for a 3-point play. Well, I talked earlier about the great game that he had against Siena.
Exactly.
Back on December the 10th, he played 26 minutes.
Look at him move right there. Explosive to the basket.
Handles the ball nicely, finishes. And he's able to now give Marist once again a 7-point lead.
You know, he's one of those guys, too. He's a scorer. I mean, he comes off the bench. He's looking to do one thing. He's looking to take it to the hole, make plays. And, you know, it's interesting when your opposition's doing a solid job containing Kenny, and they're doing just that. Other people have to create the opportunities for your team. And Smith, Wittenberg, Eppenheimer, Samuels, Tullis, all making plays on their own today.
Smith the rebound. He dribbles up himself. Kennedy. Samuels. Shovel pass, and he was fouled before delivering the pass.
And Samuels will shoot a 1-on-1 here. We're in the bonus, so I think foul trouble is
the double bonus. He'll get 2 here.
Exactly. Foul trouble is going to become a bigger factor here now.
Almost 10 minutes to go.
Here's J.R. Junior Curtis leaving his feet that time. That's ill-advised pass. When you get to the free throw line area, you've got to make sure what you're going to do with it. And then the foul, the other end on Lawrence Young. Lawrence Young will check out of the game. I'm sorry. Mr. Wicks will check out of the game, and Wilson will check back in.
There's Wicks. R.J. Wicks, 6'4" junior from Saginaw, Michigan. Now Michael Crawford in for Curtis, so the senior replaces the sophomore. Nice run for Junior Curtis so far today.
I like how you say that, the sophomore.
Sophomore. Some people put that extra syllable in. I typically don't, but that time I chose to. Why, I don't know. Public address announcers typically put that in.
Like, hey, sophomore, 6'6". From Bloomington, Indiana. No.
Bloomington? Why'd you pick Bloomington?
Because I remember the guy in Indiana used to do that.
Oh, okay. You know who the best PA announcer was growing up? Again, we're dating ourselves.
John FX Condon at Madison Square Garden.
Okay, I'll give you that. Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, Julius Irving. That's right.
Let's send it over to Teal.
Hey, thanks very much, guys. You know, Coach Harneman's just pulling his hair out over there because he said, you guys know you need to get the ball out and reset. Be very aggressive. Know when to back off and know when to break. Everything doesn't have to be a fast break. Back to you.
Well put, and that's exactly it. I mean, a lot of times it's just decision-making that has stood in the way of Rider being successful today. And there's a guy you want shooting the rock. Crawford struggling this year from 3, but career-wise, 35% career three-point shooter, only 28% this year, but you give him clean opportunities, he'll make you pay. Good job on the glass by Mario Porter.
Yeah, he's been a pure shooter since coming out of high school. Last year, 45% on threes, so you know it's there. You know the stroke is there if he gets the feel. Kennedy shields the defense and lays it in with the left hand.
You know, it's interesting. Kennedy seems to take it into another gear in the final 10 minutes of the game. And when it comes to nut crunching time and the game is on the line, he then develops a killer instinct.
Lawrence Young hits.
This game's starting to heat up a little bit here now. Nice move by Young. This game was kind of back and forth, but no real personality to it. Now it's starting to develop into a game with a little bit more pop to it.
55-50, Marist with a basketball and a 5-point lead. Eppheimer, the leaner, way off the mark, gets it back, blocked by Porter. Samuels comes down with it. Bodies on the floor, play continues for Smith. And a pushing foul on Wittenberg. He sent Mike Wilson into the cheerleaders and got called for it.
No question.
You and I had the perfect angle along with the official who made the call.
No question. And Dave McGarity upset with that call, but that was the correct call. That was a push on that play. And, you know, you had the broken play situation, and three-point shooters thrive on those scenarios. Smith with the open opportunity from downtown left side didn't knock it down, and that created the scenario where Wittenberg pushed off. Mike Wilson going to the line, 76% free throw shooter.
Last year he was on the All-MAAC rookie team. Has had a solid sophomore year. Quite often we see players like him when the upperclassmen move on. You have nice things as freshmen and sophomores, but then you really blossom as a junior or senior.
No question. And, you know, a lot of times people talk about the sophomore jinx, and I think people, I don't know if it's a jinx, but people prepare better for you.
Yes.
You can't get your game off as much because you're more of a known quantity. I think a guy that can definitely point to in this league, Bruce Seals, and he needs to have a big night tonight in place of Jaquette. He's a guy that, you know, a lot of people prepare more for. I think he's got a little bit more in his game than he's shown this year.
Well, you know what? The last three up until this year, Citizens Communications Long Distance Shooter of the Year award winners were freshmen who then all struggled, relatively speaking, their sophomore years. You had Scott Knapp, you had Jermaine Clark of Fairfield, and then you had Bruce Seals of Manhattan. All had big freshman years. The defenses and the opposition prepare, and then you consequently have a quote-unquote sophomore jinx.
No question. And people do a good job in this league. And you have intelligent players in this league, and it's more pattern play, so there's not as much free flow where you can get your game off in a helter-skelter style. You've got to do it within pattern play a lot more, so it's that much harder because people lock into your sequences, what you run offensively. So you're coming off a staggered screen or a double screen, a ball screen, a flare screen, whatever it may be, and people are locked in and they know how to play those sequences, so you don't get those clean opportunities.
Eppheimer gets a pair. Marist's lead is 5. Dave McGarity's club trying to reach the semifinals here at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. We'll step away with 7:58 to go here in the second half. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. Spencer Christian over the PA as we get back to Buffalo.
That's a little too mellow, man.
Holy cow.
Jeez.
All right, the 2001 Chase MAAC Men's Rookies of the Week as we look back. Mook
I feel like I'm out to dinner with my wife here.
God, well, don't sit so close then. God.
Gonna get the candlelight, a little Vito.
Spencer Christian.
Jeez.
I thought the 80s finished a long time ago.
I know. Come on, we got to get a little YMCA going.
Something. Well, it was better than Who Let the Dogs Out. They had that going a moment ago. 7:50 to go, second half, 57-52.
My kids love that song. What kid doesn't?
Oh, you were barking through the whole thing. The Red Foxes with the lead in the basketball. Wittenberg tries the pick and roll. Good defense. Ryder has defended that high pick and roll very well all day today.
That's such a huge component of the Marist offense. We talked about that in the open. I mean, Sean Kennedy gets his game off in a lot of ways based upon the decisions you make from a defensive standpoint in ball screen coverage. And I think Ryder, the guy guarding the screen today, a lot of times it's Mario Porter, has been real active, hedging out and making Kennedy give it up and not be a catalyst.
Yeah, both Porter and McClark, whoever has had that assignment, hasn't just given it a token hedge, he's gotten out there.
Exactly. And, you know, it's interesting, too. Some teams make the decision to blitz it. In other words, double team it. And when you do that against a guy like Kennedy,
he'll burn you.
It creates chaos because what happens now, you got 2 on him. He gets it to the open guy. And then also, Marist is such a good offensive rebounding team. Now you're down 1 man in terms of blockout assignments on the offensive glass. So it's a team you want to play more straight up.
Kennedy, the 4th leading assist man in all the NCAA, #1 in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Nice pass inside.
Top to bottom, down to Mario Porter.
High-low, just like you teach it, a little seal back, good positioning inside, and McClark threw the pass, so the only guy that could get it was his teammate. He threw the ball away from the defense to the lead hand of his teammate.
Kennedy short on 3, McClark the rebound. Ryder down 4 with the basketball. Crawford at the point. Has it knocked away, and then fouled by Smith. He and Wittenberg were doubled up.
Kennedy, he doesn't have a lot of lift in his jump shot today. A little bit flat on his attempts from the perimeter. Kennedy 2 of 6, and this time in the lane, Crawford picks up the foul.
Crawford not a true point guard, and sometimes you see that. Have a timeout called on the floor. And with this lineup without Junior Curtis out there, it's kind of a combination of who's going to handle the ball. Both Wilson and Crawford are more 2s than 1. And Don Harnum's got to make adjustments here.
Well, that's why the type of offense that they run, so structured, you can hide that a little more.
Well, as part of its year-long celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the league has announced the 20th anniversary men's team. Marvin Andrews, Darryl Barley, Doremus Bennerman, Mark Brown, Keith Bullock, Steve Burt, Brian Clifford, Marcus Faison.
My man Cliffy.
Is that Shelton Gibbs?
Yep.
He's before my time. Shelton's before me. And then
a terrific player. Rory Grimes.
Kevin Houston. Big score for the
he had 53 against us in a MAAC tournament. I was an assistant at Fordham in 1987. Made some killer shots against the Rams.
And you were worked up that Joe Paterno's not on this list.
I'm very worked up to Joe Paterno, the all-time leading scorer at Fordham. And no representation from my alma mater on this team.
How about
one of the better teams in this league?
What about Jerry Hobby, right?
Tony McIntosh, Steve Samuels, to name a few.
Well, right before Fordham left the league and went to the Patriot for the time being, and now elsewhere.
Dan O'Sullivan, Fred Herzog, Jean Prelude.
Right, they had some great teams there. Well, out of sight, out of mind.
I guess so. Jeez.
You know what that list also brings to mind? Again, the great LaSalle teams. The last time any team repeated as MAAC postseason champions was that 3-time champion LaSalle team that went from 88 through 90.
You know, Rick Remsnyder, the fine writer from the Westchester Gannett paper, called me and asked me, why was LaSalle so dominant? I said they had 4 NBA players.
Yes, you forget about Tim Legler, right?
Doug Overton, Randy Woods, and of course,
the L Train.
The L Train. Lionel Simmons. I mean, I think you'd be pretty dominant if you had 4 NBA players at a mid-major level.
Yeah, Speedy was a heck of a coach at that point. Boy, you can be.
He still is.
I'm just making the point that if you got players like that, you're going to win a lot of games.
But the fact that they changed leagues really hurt their program.
Absolutely. McClark the rebound. Marist down 3, can tie it up. Marist rather leading 58-55, but the turnover by the Bronx, the Red Foxes get it back.
Become a bit of a ragtag game. I thought it was going to develop into something a little bit more flow. It's gotten sloppy once again. The defensive intensity. Both teams a tad bit anxious as well, trying to force the issue just a bit.
Both teams in the double bonus with just over 5 minutes to play. Eppheimer spins on Wilson, and he banks it home.
You know, both teams rely so much on the structure, what they're doing. Tullis down again.
Down for another 8 count, and it looks like he's bloodied again on that left cheek.
This guy's like Chuck Wepner.
He hit me right in the jaw, he said.
Look at Dave McGarity just laughing.
Let's see if he gets the jaw.
I talk about Eppheimer.
Yep.
Oh,
McClark
boy.
did it again.
Yeah, he got whacked. That was a little bit more than a love tap.
I'd still be on the court.
McClark, a physical competitor.
Nice crossover by Lawrence Young. Offensive foul. Great job by Eppenheimer.
Step in, and he's made some big plays this afternoon. Crafty off the bounce. That's some guts right there, stepping in.
Young's a high riser and had a great first step.
Oh, he did. He was there. That's a good call. And that's the toughest call in basketball, the block charge. But Eppenheimer right there.
Absolutely.
He's got some savvy, that kid. I mean, he really, I'm impressed with the fact, sophomore, he's really come into his own this year with the Red Foxes.
And Jack, mark it down. That's consecutive possessions where Ryder, getting back into it, didn't come up with any sort of shot. And now the Red Foxes have once again opened up a 7-point lead.
Execution, finding the open man inside. That's been the trademark of this Red Fox ball club the entire year. When it chips it down, they've made plays.
Young with his foot on the line, a 2-pointer off the mark.
Big possession right here for Marist. This is one you can put Ryder in a precarious position if you can execute right here.
7-point difference under 4 minutes to play.
The tempo has changed dramatically here. This is where you want to grind it out, use the whole shot clock if possible, get a quality opportunity. Working a little 4-out, 1-in set right here, trying to isolate Tullis in a post, draw the double team.
Did a nice job kicking away from the double team. Vail with the shot that's off the mark.
Look at Tullis.
To Eppenheimer for
2. He is our MVP, Matt Tullis. Oh my goodness, he and Vail on a glass, and then the opportunity inside. Hustle makes it happen.
Tullis can take a shot and pass him off as well. 64-55. The Red Foxes have a 9-point lead. And Don Harnum's club has seen what was a 3-point difference with the ball quickly balloon to a 9-point game.
And that's what I said on that last possession. You can almost feel it in your gut. That knot gets in your stomach. I've normally been on the end where I've been down 7, and the other guy waits to carve you up. But that's what happens. Marist waited, and they ran their offense patiently, deliberately, and they carved up the Bronx on that possession, and just good ball movement. They went a 4-out, 1-in scenario, got Tullis the ball on the left post off the double team, and then Kennedy was the receiver. Good movement. Look at a miss by Vail, but Tullis getting to the weak side, keeping the ball alive on the glass, and Eppenheimer getting the glory. Well, that's the man doing the grunt work.
And I think Tullis just said to the trainer, cut me, cut me.
It's like the Bayonne bleed of this guy, Chuck Webner. Remember him? He fought Ali.
3:17 to go here in the second half. This is the first of our 4 men's quarterfinals at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. Another tough shot for the Bronx.
8-1 run here in the last 3 minutes and 24 seconds.
Right down to the second.
Oh, yeah.
With the clock running.
The whole bit. Well, I hit up pretty good.
Timeout by Smith right before the double team and the pass off.
30-second timeout. I get a kick out of Dave McGarrett. I don't know if we can get a shot of him in the huddle here. He's got the tag, the identification tag,
right,
hanging from his pants. I mean, it's not like he's going to walk in here as some corporate executive. I mean, I think you can pretty much figure out the guy's a coach.
You haven't been stopped. Well, you're a big celebrity here in Western New York. Everybody knows you, right?
No.
We all get stopped. There's Coach McGarrity.
Look at it.
He's got the tag down around his waist there.
There it is, right there. It's dangling.
To make sure he can get back into the shell of the arena.
Coach, I think they know you're the coach of the year in the MAAC. Well earned, well deserved, by the way. Biggest lead of the game. Ties the biggest lead of the game. Second time this game that the Red Foxes have led by 9.
64-55, Marist on top. Kennedy now is the equalizer at the point. You've got the veteran point guard, first team all-league to help work the clock. The runner, no good, but the shot clock was down to 9.
This is it for the Bronx. Need to take care of business every possession now.
Lawrence Young runs into a double team. Good defensive club out there right now for the Red Foxes. Foul on the backside. And again, McClark and Eppenheimer this time banging. McClark will be the one going to the line.
Boy, there is some heated words going on. Donald Vail, good play right there. Rick Smith just grabbed Donald Vail. There was some junk being talked between McClark and Vail. They don't like how physical McClark's being inside with them, and I can see their point. McClark is very aggressive in terms of establishment of position, particularly using those arms to get some position inside, and he and Eppenheimer get locked up inside. But if you go further on that replay, you'll see it. And good play by Smith, though. You don't need a technical foul right now. You don't need to give any more opportunities to the Bronx than you'd want. And Smith walked over to Vail and just said, hey, buddy, enough. Play finish. There it is right there. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And Vail has every right on that play, and I like that. He's sticking up for his teammate, saying, hey, I'm not going to take that junk from you. McClark having a few choice words right there as he is about to take the free throw. So there's no love lost between these two teams,
to say the least.
Ah, isn't it great March Madness?
1 out of 2 for McClark. 64-56 Marist.
These teams have always had a great rivalry. The Northeast Conference, they were two of the better teams, actually two of the best teams in that league, almost year in, year out. I mean, you think of the tradition of the Marist program. Rick Smith, Drafton Davis, Steve Smith, Isaac Buchanan, Danny Basil, Alan Tomedy. Been a great run Dave McGarrity's had. The Andy Lake, Steve Paterno, brother of Joe Paterno, by the way. Who did make the All-MAC team.
The viewers at home can't see your facial expressions. Unfortunately, I do, so that's why I'm laughing some of these times. People don't know why. Steve Paterno, huh?
Yep.
Got any other names on your list?
Steve played at Christian Brothers Academy, Lincroft, New Jersey.
R.J. Wicks goes out.
When you think of the tradition at Rider, obviously the name that comes to mind the most, Derek Suber. What an explosive scorer he was for Kevin Bannon back in the early 90s.
It's getting physical here in the later stages of our quarterfinal action. Mr. Vail, keep your mouth shut, please. It's a 10-point Marist lead on the MAAC television network.
What are those stories?
About people. Try an interval of about 15 milliseconds. That's half of what the PISO is.
The aspects of the retreat, like you're talking about friendship.
Also about what that knowledge means for the human spirit. I know that students are concerned about it.
Here's a look at the Citizens Communications Long Distance Shooter of the Year award winner, Scott Knapp, for the second time in his career. Did it as a freshman, does it as a senior. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC, once again the proud sponsor of the MAAC Long Distance Shooter of the Year, and we will be seeing Mr. Knapp on the backside of our 4 quarterfinals, Jack. This evening it's scheduled to tip off at about 9 o'clock. It probably won't get started till 9:30, 9:45, but check your local listings.
Exactly.
We'll have that Siena game for you right here on the MAAC television network as they take on the Manhattan Jaspers.
It should be a terrific game. How about a little numbers for you? Marist is 6-0 when they hold their opponents under 60. Rider 0-5 when they're held under 60. So the tempo has worked beautifully in the favor of the Red Foxes.
And you were talking about Donald Vail and his nature, his physical nature, the presence that he brings onto the floor for the Red Foxes.
He's a guy, you know, the old line of growing up in Brooklyn, I got your back. I want that guy with me. I mean, he's a guy that just, you could see when that little thing took place with Eppenheimer and McClark in the post, he was the first guy to come defend his teammate. And he's a guy you love having as a teammate because he's a guy that has your back. You know, the old analogy, who do you want in the trenches with you in the foxhole? I want Donald Vail with me.
Absolutely. Full court pressure off the made free throw.
Have to do it now. Stuck 8, 3 possessions. They're down. Got to create some turnovers, but it's a tough guy to do it against. Kennedy making good decisions.
Porter winds up giving up the foul. Tullis will go to the line to shoot 2, and so Matt Tullis, a 73% foul shooter, gets a chance to make it a 10-point game.
You know, this is the scenario now for Dave McGarrity where he wants his better free throw shooters in the ball game, and McKendy shooting 69% of the season, Smith 70%, Vail 64%, Tullis 72%. So, and then obviously Eppenheimer on the floor as well, 77%. So playing the odds, making sure you have that.
Offense, defense, Wicks goes out, Young back in. And there's our heavyweight champ.
He'll be back tomorrow if they can find a way to pull this one off. Ready to go again.
And he's going to have a
Taking
sore
on all
jaw,
comers.
too. We saw the elbow he took to the jaw a couple of minutes ago.
Hey, believe me, he'll have all summer to worry about his jaw. Find a way to grind it out for 2 more games and get a chance to be part of March Madness. That's what it's about.
Eppenheimer.
That's why I laugh, at DeMond Stewart, the stress fracture of Mario Porter. With are you kidding me? These guys are going to strap it on a ball.
Absolutely.
They are ready to go. DeMond Stewart, Porter. Porter's a junior, but Stewart a senior. He's got the rest of his life to worry about his foot.
Yeah, there's no way.
No holding him
people
back.
Asked me this week, I didn't even need a medical report on DeMond. I can't believe that they were able to strap him down to stay out of the last regular season game.
You talk about the size of a heart. Big heart.
For the
DeMond Stewart.
2001 MAAC Player of the Year. This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
This is big. We're official.
May not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC, MAAC Properties, and Jack Armstrong.
There we go.
What's your home fax number in case we want to get disclaiming rights? Because we got to go through you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You got your fax?
I don't have a fax at home, actually.
Big play-by-play or
I
color
don't.
guy
Everything
like you?
gets sent to my wife's office. She runs the show at my house.
Oh, so she's your secretary
I don't know about
currying
that.
this stuff. Is that what you're saying, Jack? Smith, lefty runner, he was fouled, and will go to the line to shoot 2.
I'm just along for the ride in my house.
Just happy to see another day.
It's her world. I'm just visiting.
Foul on Mario Porter is his 5th, and so the first team all-conference performer is fouled out, and Smith will go to the line. So Mario Porter done for the day, 20 points, and unless Ryder's able to come up with a big comeback here, that's the end of what's been a terrific junior season.
Sure has, and he's been held 8 points below the average that he had in the 2 games earlier this season. And guess what? The difference in this game? 8 points. But just an incredible season. Ryder 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And that's a bit deceiving because of the foul scenario. We've been in the bonus since the 11-minute mark. And John Leonard, the fine assistant commissioner of the MAAC conference, trying to make sure these games go off on time. He's probably stressing out right now.
Speed it up.
Speed it up.
Keep it moving.
This is when you want running time. Or like the mercy rule, like Little League, you're down 10 runs.
Just walk it off. Rick Smith hit the first, will take the second. Now, if we're off the air before midnight tonight, that'll be early. These quarterfinal days, that last game, the Manhattan Siena game, scheduled to start at 9, and it's John Leonard's job. That's right.
I coached in that game twice. We beat Manhattan and Loyola. We were the lowest seed. We were the 6th seed, and beat those 2 teams when they were the 3rd seed. And
well, I asked both Coach Orr and Gonzalez during the week, what's the key to keeping fresh for playing in that last quarterfinal game? You apparently have the answer.
I used to tell my guys there's some hot chicks in Malibu on the West Coast. It's prime time. They're watching you right now. You got to bring your best game.
So you had to change. That was the problem. Jack, you needed to switch all your games to 11 p.m. Eastern starts.
No question. There's people all over the West Coast checking it out, man. You got to bring your best stuff for them. They don't get a chance to see you all during the course of the year. So got to show the folks in Seattle and Portland. And
it worked.
All over the place. What you got, man?
Sean Kennedy to the line. Don Harnum's club up against it. It was such a quick start to the day for Ryder. They led 10-2 right out of the gate. But Marist took that first punch literally and figuratively and came right back.
And he's done such a fabulous job in his 4 years at Ryder. He's been such a huge part of the success of that Bronx program for so long. An assistant with Kevin Bannon there, and now taking over the program and has kept it not only on firm footing, but has had a lot of success there. The NIT just a few years back. And I mentioned this before. These 2 coaches, when you talk about pattern play execution of the half-court offense, I don't think you find better out there. They really do a good job with their execution.
Pick and roll, but McClark didn't roll. It's a turnover.
The problem has been today, though, both teams are so used to playing this style that they've done a wonderful job negating each other, and it's come down a lot to individual play, and more so anything else, the Red Fox's determination on the offensive glass. That's been a big difference.
And now the Bronx have called it off. They will let the shot clock wind down at 14 and allow the Red Foxes to work it down here in the closing seconds. 8 on the shot clock, and so now Marist will hoist one up. Eppheimer, blocked by McClark. Crawford, no. Sani the rebound. This will do it. 12 seconds to go. And the Marist Red Foxes.
Dave McGarity telling his team, hold the ball under no circumstances, no shot here. This
they
game
are
is over.
on to the semifinals to take on the winner of our next game between Iona and Loyola. Marist moves on. Ryder goes home. Don Harnum's club defeated by Dave McGarity's ball club. The 2001 Coach of the Year is into the semis.
Stick around. We've got another game coming up.
We'll be back to talk to the winning coach and much more here from the HSBC Arena in Buffalo. The Red Foxes move to the semis on the MAAC Television Network.